On this episode of I'm Not a Lawyer But, the Debrief.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Put your hand down. Officer Jackson, good morning to you. Can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Officer Jackson, badge number 3919, out of the 12th precinct.
All right.
Officer Jackson, you got to ask
Yeah.
the camera judge.
You got some pants on, officer?
Sir, they're in the... No, sir.
Now, if you're not ready, then go ahead and tell me you're not ready.
I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives.
I'm not a lawyer, but I'm not a lawyer, but
The Debrief.
hello and welcome to another episode of I'm Not a Lawyer, But.
The Debrief.
I am Melanie, aka I'm Not a Lawyer, But, and I'm joined by my co-host.
Gooseby, how y'all doing?
We are not lawyers, nor are we legal experts, but we get on the podcast and talk all the things legal, give you our thoughts, opinions, jokes sometimes.
Showing up.
Sometimes y'all like them, sometimes y'all don't, but y'all still tune in, and that's what matters. So we are going to talk mainly about the Alicia Andrews verdict, is what we will mainly talk about. But before we do, there was something else that happened kind of in the last week. It was towards the end of last week. Again, I've been saying this kind of consistently, but today is Wednesday. We are recording this on Wednesday. This episode releases on Friday to the general public. But if you're in the Patreon, you get to record live with us on Wednesdays. Give us your thoughts and opinions.
So join the Patreon.
So join the Patreon. Patreon.com/I'm Not a Lawyer But is how you can do that. But so something came out last week that I don't think Greg has seen yet, and he hasn't mentioned it. Usually this is something he would have shown me. So I want to play that, and then we'll get to Alicia Andrews. So you ready?
I'm ready.
This story started circulating on the internet, and it has to do, actually, do you remember we talked about sovereign citizens?
Yep.
And remember the judge was like so irritated. He was explaining. So that judge, have you seen this?
No.
A clip of that judge has gone viral. He apparently just has like his courtroom open for like his cases. So he was dealing with, it seems like a woman who may have gotten arrested or in trouble for drag racing. And so she is having this like hearing where he's, taking, I guess, the case or hearing from her. It seems like maybe she's even taken a plea. And there's an officer who I believe probably ticketed her or arrested her. And so it starts off kind of with the woman who has been arrested and her explaining this plea. And then the officer also has to speak. So that's just the context for the clip.
She is drag racing?
It seems like she got ticketed or got maybe arrested for drag racing. And I forgot the other one. I'll play it and it'll make sense.
Okay.
What I'm saying. Here we go.
Date and time set for a trial is Officer Jackson here. He was.
I think he might be in the breakout room.
I'll go now. All right. Ms. Lee, my understanding, you want to bail yourself to the offer?
Yes.
All right, raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Put your hand down. Officer Jackson, good morning to you. Can you put your appearance on the record, please?
Yes, Officer Jackson, badge number 3919, out of the 12th precinct.
All right.
Officer Jackson, you got to ask the camera judge.
You got some pants on, officer?
Sir, they're in the... No, sir.
Officer Jackson, okay, Ms. Lee, is the officer's as charged as a disorderly person, correct?
Yes.
And then
I'm so mad because he just kept going. He just acted like that officer didn't appear on court on the hearing on the
Because you
Zoom.
don't notice it at first. You're looking like you look at him, and since he's dark skinned, you're not just. Oh my goodness! Right when the clip stopped, I was like, "Was that his drawers?" I wasn't quite sure.
It's so funny. And then
Why they say he in the break room? This nigga, he in his
was
living room.
in the breakout room, meaning it's Zoom. So he needed to be let back into, the main visual. That's what she was saying.
Oh, he's in the
Yes.
I thought they said break room, like he was in the back
he
somewhere.
was in the breakout room. But
This man, this is the thing about being a certain age on the internet. He didn't understand the screen. The six, what is it? What is it? 18 by 16, and then the
9 by 16.
Yeah. He didn't know that. He thought he was straight up from the chest up.
And then he tried to fix it. He tried to zoom in, but then he was so honest. The judge said, "Do you have pay?" No.
He
no.
couldn't. You couldn't.
You can't lie.
You couldn't lie now.
That is so funny. I had such a time.
Case dismissed, man. Get out of here. Lady, go home. You got lucky today.
Don't drag race no more. He just kept talking to the judge. Was like, dude, all right, man.
But he didn't even get up to go put pants on.
He
just fixed the camera like, hey.
That's all. Listen, that used to be my life.
Hey,
okay, I was working from
how
home.
you doing?
I will. Listen.
Can you
You
imagine
just have to remember
if this man didn't have drawers on?
Oh man.
And he was just there, butt balls, just
That is so.
that would have been wild.
Also,
the judge, his face, who he is. I seen another video of him with the sovereign citizen, and he sat back and he was like, "What are you talking about?"
I want to apparently again. This is let me get off this man. This is
he got his hands up swearing.
Let me go to another part.
Yes, I'm gonna tell the truth and nothing but the truth. And you know, if he would have lied about his pants, that would have been crazy right then. After you just sworn, you gonna tell the truth.
This is if you just want to watch this judge's courtroom, apparently this is how you can. So the YouTube channel is CTRM 434 36th District Court, Judge Sean Perkins personal meeting room. So he streams his here, and you can see how long this this is, like an all day. You can.
This should be a thing though. Every courtroom,
all the people that he had that day,
every case should be streamed like this.
I don't know this man. I
thought that was the officer.
No, I'd be feeling bad just putting all the people who had court that day, but like they're all on Zoom court. So if you just want to watch Zoom court and see this judge's reactions to it,
wow,
you can do that. So shout out to him for
Isn't
allowing
there
the public to see him do his cases.
Isn't there a preview on Zoom before you go live or whatever?
You see yourself. Absolutely you do. I don't know why he thought see him in his drawers sitting in his couch.
There's a Zoom call and this lady is in the bed. I don't even know if she thinks her face is being seen, but she's like in the bed face down, and she's a teacher and they're having a call, and her face is like doing that into the pillow, and then you see a man reach around her to grab something.
All right.
Crazy.
People gotta read. This is
crazy work.
Very
the
crazy.
internet is wild, and it's once you're 40 and up, especially 40 and up, you gonna get caught, man.
Absolutely.
Because you ain't gonna know what button to press, what's gonna show up on the other side.
Yeah.
Woo! This man was clean cut in his drawers with his top uniform.
He did have his top on. That's the age of work from home. All right. I just wanted to show that because
if I was that girl,
cracked me up this week.
If I was that girl, no matter what they said, I'm like, that officer didn't have no drawers on. I would say that every 2 minutes. That officer didn't have no drawers.
All right, let's talk Alicia Andrews, because we got a verdict last Friday. Oh my gosh, they did closings. They did everything on Friday. First of all, everything. Alicia testified on Friday. They did closings on Friday. She did jury instructions on Friday. The jurors got the case on Friday. They deliberated for 2 hours, couple hours, and then we got a verdict all on Friday, Halloween day. Okay, no trick-or-treating jurors, ain't no trick-or-treating attorneys. If y'all had plans, forget about it. You are in this courtroom all day. Okay. I wasn't there, and it was very long for me. I was literally doing the trick-or-treating with the phone to my ear, trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. But because so much happened, there's a lot to talk about. And I should start off by saying, I'm sure you're probably aware, but if you're not, Alicia ended up getting convicted of manslaughter. So as a reminder, she was charged with first-degree murder, and it was as a principal to first-degree murder, meaning other people, her co-defendants, actually committed the murder, but because she helped, she gets the same charge. She gets treated just like them. She was also charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and so she ended up being found not guilty on the conspiracy, and she was found guilty on count 1, but of the lesser. So it's first degree, the lesser was second degree, the other lesser was the next lesser included charge was manslaughter. So they didn't convict her on first or second, but they did say that she was guilty of manslaughter. So that is how we got where we got. A few things before I kind of get into a video I posted about the verdict that got a lot of engagement. But before that, I just want to talk a little bit about her on the stand, because one of the things I thought her direct examination was great, in my opinion. I thought that she came across as credible. I thought that her answers were, although many times dumb, they came across as, oh, you were young and dumb. So this actually makes sense for someone young, dumb, and in love with a hard head. Like, oh, this is tracking. So that was her direct. I thought like she was great. On cross-examination, things got a little spicy, got a little intense. Because at one point, the prosecutor asks her about her she was asked on direct about her relationship with with Isaiah Chance, the father of her daughter and the co-defendant to this case, right? And on direct, she was asked, are you guys still together? And she said, he may think so, but because I never broke up with him. So on cross, the prosecutor brings that back up. She revisits this. And she's like, he thinks you're not together. Is it because you call him all the time and you send him sexting pictures? And is that possibly why? And they get into the fact that Alicia's attorneys have told her, you need to stop talking to him. And Alicia has chosen to continue talking to him. So I'm just going to play a little bit of the clip so you don't just have my word, but you can listen to her say it herself, child.
Times, yes.
And you are claiming to this jury that you're not in a relationship with him anymore. Is that true, ma'am?
I'm not. I said he may think that because I never broke up with him, but I'm not.
Do you think that he thinks that because you still talk to him even though he is locked in jail, right?
Yes, I do still talk to him, and that's because of my issue. I don't want to cause any safety issues in his jail. He sends me verbal messages and where I'm at, so, I just keep him at ease. There's nowhere for me to go.
Safety issues. He is locked up for first-degree murder charges and cannot get to you. Isn't that true, ma'am?
You do know his ways in a jail. You can send messages to people. People look at me sideways. Oh, that's your boyfriend? He said this. He told me to tell you this. Like, it's safety issues. Like, literally before I came to trial, a deputy told me one of my co-defendants were trying to have me jumped. So I just do what I have to do.
You were also...
So here's my thing. I actually thought her saying the safety issues, I thought the prosecutor looks dumb when she's like, he's in jail. What do you mean? When we all know, okay, if jail was the safest place, why are people getting stabbed and killed in the jail? Why are fights happening in the jail?
All the time.
That was a dumb response by the prosecutor. You look not credible. Now you look unaware. And that So for me, I was like, prosecutor, that wasn't a good answer. However, Alicia girl,
it made her look smarter than you are saying she is. It makes her look smarter than
Alicia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you didn't just walk around with this dude just not knowing what was happening.
Right.
You knew how to play the game.
Yeah.
And now you're playing the game again here in court.
Yeah.
So when she said what she said, I was like, oh,
So you do know what's
you
up.
know what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know,
a good point.
you just got to bite the bullet on that one.
Yeah. And the other thing that is the jail calls specifically for her. I completely agree. It makes her look like you're not just some aloof girl who's out on the town with your boyfriend.
Yep.
It makes the prosecutors look dumb because you're desperately trying to make her look guilty instead of being honest and open about the fact that no, it's fair. It's a good point, right? So I thought dings on both. But the other thing for me is while Alicia looks really bad in still communicating with this guy, the alternative would have been what? For her to get up there and lie about it. And imagine how much worse she looks on the stand if she denied, no, we are not together. I don't know why he thinks that, like whatever. And then it comes out that you're talking to him. The best way, considering the circumstances, the best way to handle that, I thought, is what she did, to say, yes, this is what I'm doing and here is why. So I thought this was the best way to handle it. In general, girl, you should have stopped talking to that fool.
Yes.
The day you got arrested.
That's why I said you're going to have to bite the bullet on this. You're going to have to tell the truth, but it's going to also show that you're coherent. You know what's happening.
Know what's up.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad she did tell the truth, because, you know, once you start lying, that's when the prosecutor would have, I got you. Because she was trying to catch up so many times, but couldn't, because the girl was telling the truth.
Yeah. No, I agree. Oh my gosh. I just had, okay, 407. The other thing that came up that I thought, again, made the prosecutors look dumb and unaware is early in the cross. She is asking her, you know, because they're really driving home Alicia's awareness of gang members, gang activity, and this gang war. That is their like point. So early in the cross, she's going through all the people that Alicia apparently knows who are gang members. But what happens is that the prosecutor is clearly unaware and wrong. She thinks there's a picture of Alicia with a particular gang member. Turns out it's not a gang member at all. It's Alicia's cousin. And you could hear, right, the surprise in the prosecutor's voice.
The prosecutor was going so hard on this girl.
You're not girl, but you get my point.
Yeah, I get you, girl.
Yeah.
I'm talking about this lady thought she had her dead right.
Yes. And was wrong. So I'm going to play the clip.
These messages from your phone?
Yes.
And Kamari Outing, he was a member of 1200, isn't that correct?
No.
No? I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 75C12. That's a photo of you with Kamari Outing that was still on your phone. Isn't that true, ma'am?
That's not Kamari.
That's not Kamari?
That's my cousin.
Okay, what's your cousin's name?
Marcus.
Marcus. Okay.
Marcus.
Say sorry.
Yeah, that lady took that picture down so quick. She said, Marcus? Okay. So back to Kamari. Let's move on from that. So again, I was like, this is, in my opinion, further proving the defense's point that you guys are so unaware of this situation that you're pulling any and everything to try to tie her to.
Yeah.
And it's unfair.
I agree.
Now here's my problem. Okay. I
got two problems. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
My first problem was the entering of the back gate. Are we talking about those problems?
Yeah, that's next on my list.
Okay.
Go
the
ahead.
Entering of the back gate. You can't explain that.
Yeah.
And once I enter the front door and you tell me, hey, open the back gate. What? What?
Well, even before
Something's happening, and now everybody's coming in through the back gate.
Well, here's the part that got me. So here's the thing though. She more than when she got there, because I think she kind of like weaselly explained when she got there. She went through the front door. So explaining, and I don't think it's confirmed that she opened the back door for everyone else, because somebody opened the front door for her. So who knows? So the biggest part for me about the Airbnb is the fact that they went to McDonald's. We see the McDonald's video. At some point, they went to McDonald's and come back. When they came back, they're not caught on the Ring camera coming back. So that means at that point, Alicia went with them fools through the back.
Yeah.
Explain what happens when you just got back from McDonald's, you pregnant and hungry, and they're like, hey, girl, we got to go through the back. And you're like, all right. When you don't have an answer to that, that's what I was like, oh, girl, honey. Yeah. So I'll play that quickly.
Also, there's a defense against that, because y'all know with Ring doorbells, it catches things when they want to catch things.
Yes.
So they all could have really went in through the front, and the Ring just didn't catch it. That could have happened. That is a possibility.
She didn't deny it that she went.
Okay, well, she got then. That's what I'm talking about.
Let me play it.
If you have nothing to hide, and we're just talking about an Airbnb, you didn't just say, I went through the back door, right?
Yeah, I didn't say that.
You lied, right?
I don't think I answered it.
You said, I don't remember.
Yeah, and I probably was aggravated at the time, so.
But it's a lie nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
Because certainly you're not going to make the jury believe that you going through some dark pathway in the middle of the night to leave and then get back is something that you're not going to remember, right?
I mean, not necessarily. It wasn't a big thing to remember that day.
So she's talking about after the McDonald's trip, and what happened is they asked her in the interrogation room, and she was like, I don't remember. What she just admitted on the stand was that was a lie. Duh, we went through there. I don't know. And it wasn't a big deal. Going through the back door of an Airbnb after a McDonald's trip when you went through the front door the first time, I'd argue you'd remember, honey.
At night, too? At
night.
Come on.
Yeah, I'd argue. So, again, that was a part where I was like, oh, girl, hold on now. I got questions. So yeah, I appreciated her getting on the stand for her case. I thought it was a good idea for her to do that. What happens as a result of you getting on the stand? Hey, it just happens. But I do think, in my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer, and you are free to have a different opinion. In my opinion, Melanie, I'm not a lawyer, but it was a good idea for her to get on the stand. And I thought she came across as credible, but she came across as someone who was dumb, young, and knew more than she has been letting on that she knew, or her defense has been letting on that she knew. That's what I took away from her testimony. Now,
she gives off the impression that you have to ask her the right questions, and then she'll give you the right answers. And I think she knew why they went down there.
I'm not convinced of that, but go ahead.
I think, well, not to per se like to kill this guy, hey, we about to go handle some business, period. Right. And she's like, well, I ain't about to ask what it is. I know we doing something, but I don't want to know what it is. And that's what happened. So, hey, we about to go make this run, make this money. And you the driver. All right, man, I'll drive y'all. They go, I didn't know they were going to rob the bank.
I knew they was going to do something.
They were going to do something.
I know that they're criminals and they usually do crimes.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me which crime they was going to commit on that day. And I just happened to be around and have gas and needed $20. So I said,
they
sure.
Depositing money, not taking money.
Yeah.
Type jazz. So that's how I feel about the situation. And this back door kind of confirmed it for me, because once I start questioning it, it's like, okay, you had me, now you tripping.
Now you lost.
And then with the changing of the clothes like they showed off. Well, they didn't show, but the pictures of her. She likes dressing up when she goes out. But when she went out with her boyfriend on this vacation that they're supposed to be celebrating or getting back together, she dressed down and she was just going from club to club. Why did you dress down? Because you knew you was about to go do some surveillance, right?
That's your opinion.
That's my opinion.
Got
That's
it.
what I'm thinking. So you were on the up and up. You might didn't know everything, but you knew something. All right, that's what it was. Okay.
One of the other things that happened during the course of the defense's case, because the defense put on a case, obviously Alicia's testimony was part of that case, but before Alicia testified, they had 3 witnesses come to the stand, including Sean Gathrights' mama. Okay, remember his grandma previously tested and she was 10 toes behind her grandson. Sean Gathrights' mother was 20 toes. She took other people's toes to stand behind her son. Okay, this woman was not playing, and it was not good for her. But regardless, in addition to Sean Gathrights' mother testifying and Robert Howard, who was a person who was there the night of the incident, they also called an expert to the stand, and he testified about Alicia's phone data information, location, GPS data. And what he testified about is so during the prosecutor's case, their, investigators and the lead and all of that, what they testified about is Alicia's phone and I think Isaiah Chance's phone, right? All tracked them going to the clubs that Julio Fulio went to. They went to Teasers first. And then after Teasers, there is about 30 minutes or so in which they are like another way. Okay. They leave Teasers and they go somewhere for about 30 minutes. And then they go to the second club that Fulio was at, which is Truth 18. They're caught on camera there. Then they go to the hotel. The way prosecutors presented it was like they were just kind of driving around for this 30 minutes. They never really went anywhere. And then they went to the second club. The defense's expert says, the 30 minutes where they were actually at a second club. So before they went to Truth 18, they went to a club that Julio Fulio did not go to at all that night. And Alicia testified that, yes, we went to that club and we got out and went up to the bouncer or the security at the door of that club. And he told us how much it cost to get in. And we said, no, it was too much money. And then we went to Truth 18. So what they were showing, what the defense was showing is her story is valid in the sense that she thought they were just going out. And here they are going to these different clubs, trying to find somewhere to get in. That's, not too packed, that is not too expensive. And here's a club they went to that Fulio did not go to. So they're trying to substantiate their case. I thought that was interesting because prosecutors, why didn't you put this out there? Why didn't you show that they went to this second club when you have everywhere else at this where these defendants have gone that night? They have accounted for down to the McDonald's. And there's 30 minutes showing them where is another club, has them over there, and you don't present that. So again, for me, I was like, So I just felt I had a lot of emotion, just like the last episode where I was like, I see this, but then I have this. That's how I felt. This case, there were so many holes. And for me, if you have questions are reasonable doubt. But that's not to say I don't understand how and why the jurors got to this verdict, because clearly they felt like she knew something and some kind of guilty verdict was appropriate. So I get it. Were you going to say something before I get the thing? I want everybody to put their legal thinking caps on for my next part. Go ahead though.
I do, to my point about her dressing up. If she knew she was going to clubs or going to a club, her demeanor is usually nice, pretty girl
when
dressing
she's not
up.
Pregnant. She was also early days of pregnant. I don't know if you've ever been pregnant. I have been twice. I don't know if you remember. We went to Hawaii when I was pregnant once, and boy, what a time.
I ain't gonna say what I said.
I'm just presenting
I haven't
another
been pregnant.
side.
I'm not speaking on that at all.
I'm just presenting
go.
another side. So here's the thing. I made a video that was in a very specific video. My question was, since Alicia Andrews was charged as principal 2 first-degree murder, being that she was convicted of a lesser degree of a lesser included charge under first degree, is it still as a principal? And if that's the case, that means the verdict is the juror saying you assisted with a manslaughter. It mean, right? Because the crime itself, if she was convicted of first degree, what that would mean is your co-defendants committed first degree murder and you as principal helped. So when you go to the lesser included, that would still theoretically apply. It would mean your co-defendants committed a second degree murder. You helped as principal. Under second is manslaughter. They committed manslaughter. You helped. That was the train of thought that sparked my video. Some people thought, which is a fair assumption, but I just want to be clear. Some people thought that I was saying this means that the co-defendants committed manslaughter and they cannot be charged with anything more than manslaughter. That's not what I was saying. That wasn't my point, because I know that. And if you don't, I will tell you, her verdict will have no impact on their case. That is separate in the fact that they'll have their own jurors. The information, the evidence that will be presented will probably be more and different than what was presented in her case. So those are separate. Her manslaughter verdict will not impact their case. Clear. So the heart of my question was really about her being charged as principal. And number one, does that carry down? I wanted to be sure that that carried down to the lesser included charges. And number two, I felt like it really had to do with appeal. The reason I was asking had to do with appeal options, because I think the evidence of this case is not that this was a manslaughter, right? Like, this is not, they drove 3 hours with guns to kill this man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want to talk about premeditation. I don't know how else you prove that, right? So my whole point was the facts of this case don't support the verdict. And is that appealable? Now, what became clear is based off of some conversations I had and some comments. I'm thankful for all the attorneys who commented and chatted me through this. What it seems like, okay, is that being charged as a principal to a crime is not actually a charge. It is a theory. It is something that prosecutors argue in court, but the charge itself is first degree. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I'm saying she was charged as a principal, that's not factual, because it seems, I haven't seen the charging documents because they keep everything under seal, but it seems like she was charged with first degree murder. The theory, the argument as to why she is charged with first degree murder is the principal aspect. So in Georgia, and I think in Texas, they don't call it principal, they call it a party to. So you're charged with first degree as a party to it. You helped it, right? And again, it's not like the paperwork does not say as principal. The paperwork just has the count, that has the charge. So that alone would then mean she could be charged, she could be convicted of manslaughter, the lesser degree, because it wasn't as a principal. It was just straight up your actions led to this crime. And what they were saying is your actions alone equal manslaughter. Does that make sense? You followed?
I followed. So principle is not a factual thing.
It's not a charge.
It's not a charge.
It is a theory.
Okay.
And here's the thing about theories, right? Prosecutors have them. It's their case. They can tell you how they think something happened. That's the whole point. Jurors don't have to take prosecutors' theory. They can hear your theory and come to their own conclusion themselves. So just because they reached their verdict, it does not mean that they believe prosecutor's version of events. We actually don't know what they believe because we don't get that side. We just get their verdict. So it actually has no bearing on what prosecutor said. That's just what they came to. Does that make sense? Everyone following? Because I'm not even done. And I hope you have you're not a lawyer legal brains on. Again, the basis of my question had to do, I explained why the answer to my question is no, but I now kind of want to talk you through what I was getting at with the appeal. Okay. Because you can appeal based on a number of things. And let me start with this one first. Improper admission of evidence could be a reason for a ground for an appeal.
Mhm.
So going back to that picture of her cousin,
Her cousin, yep.
the judge allowed that evidence to be admitted.
Mhm.
It seems like it was admitted improperly because when it came time to show it, it did not prove or be what the prosecutor thought. And the defense argued, Arian White argued for that not to be admitted. She said they're not going to even be able to establish who that is. And the judge still said, overruled.
Yep.
I think, and I'm not a lawyer, I think that is a beginning grant, and not that that particular evidence is why she got convicted. No. But when you start thinking about improper admission of evidence, I think that that is a clear example of it. I also think early in, I don't even know, day 4, it was 5 because it was the same argument. Arian was arguing, the attorney was arguing that they are trying to connect Alicia to any gang member possible. And what the judge said was, yeah, well, that's because y'all said she doesn't know any. And Arian responded and said, no. We said she doesn't know the people a part of this crime outside of her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So when they are admitting evidence that just showed she knew Joe Blow, who is from 6 Block, does that actually doesn't counter their defense at all. But anyway, my point is, if all you're doing is showing her nexus, her connection to gang members, and it's not gang members involved in this particular crime, okay, and it's not count because they never said she doesn't know any gang members, does that mean that you were admitting evidence improperly? That is the question I was having. I'm not saying yes. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying this is what I was thinking. Go ahead.
That picture, she was wrong about accusing her of knowing
the person
in that
wrong.
picture.
Yeah.
But to your point, you done presented this picture of her next to a dude. He was throwing up some type of gang sign.
Yeah.
So now
what you were trying, yes.
The jury's like, okay, that could be your cousin or whoever,
Yes.
but obviously he's a gang member or he's throwing up gang signs.
Yes. It kind of goes to the point.
Yeah. We wouldn't even seen this if y'all knew who the hell the guy was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Had y'all and her attorney objected to it. That's the whole point. She was preserving the record. What she didn't do, in that moment, she didn't say, that's her cousin, y'all are wrong. She let y'all rock.
Yep.
And when the judge admits it, now you look like a fool because you didn't know. That is one of the reasons that you can file an appeal, a ground, potentially. Again, y'all know I'm not a lawyer. Don't find me in the comments. I ain't got time. Okay. Obviously, prosecutorial misconduct, a bunch of reasons, right? But Attorney Starr, I was talking to Attorney Starr about this because I was just trying to get my thoughts and trying to understand, like, what does all this mean and whatever. And so she sent me a case, and she sent it for another reason that I'm going to talk about. But before I get to the reason she sent it, I want to get into what I was trying to get at with my question, which, give me a second. So it's an old case, but context, let me give you the context first. Context for the case is a man was charged with arson, and then he was charged with first-degree murder because in him starting the fire, a person died. Okay. He ends up getting found well, under the first degree murder charge were some lesser included charges.
Mhm.
And I think actually one of the lessers was second degree. So he gets charged with first degree, but the lesser included is second degree.
Mhm.
The jury convicts him of second degree. Okay. He
Mhm.
appeals. One of the things the Supreme Court found is, oh, actually, I won't. Well, I'll just tell you what he argued in his appeal, which is that the evidence pointed to first degree murder and nothing else. And so the argument here is, yes, I was found guilty of second degree as a lesser included. But again, back to my point, the evidence of the case doesn't even support second degree. And basically saying this shouldn't have even been included as a option because the facts of the case don't support that charge.
Yeah.
And that's what I was getting at with manslaughter, because I was like, the facts of this case there's no world in which you're like, they accidentally shot that man. And so again, it goes back to my original point. If the charge was as a principal, this logically does not make sense. You can't help somebody unintentionally. Well, I guess you could, but like, that's not what happened here. And that's not what they were saying. So that was the foundation of like what I was getting at. Again, we already resolved that it's a theory, but that's what I was getting at. Now, I hope y'all are following. I'm exhausted even going through trying to make sure it makes sense. With this case in particular, so one of the back and forths I'm having, right, is that if she appeals and wins, right, if the courts are like, judge messed up, admit the evidence was messed up, they blah blah blah, yes, send it back to the court. Okay, because usually when you win an appeal, it goes back to the lower court, and what that means is try again. You get another trial. Okay, if she gets another trial, are we starting back from ground one, meaning first degree as a principal, second degree as a lesser, manslaughter, and as well as the conspiracy? That was the concern, because that's a risk. If you're willing to fight this again, you better hope that they don't find you guilty of first degree. So this case that I'm telling you about, where the whole evidence doesn't support, the reason why it's so interesting is because the Supreme Court, again, this is an old case, but the Supreme Court found, let me show you. So the man who started the fire, he gets he wins his appeal. He gets retried. That time, instead of second degree, because remember, first trial, he gets convicted of second degree. In the retrial, he gets convicted of first degree murder.
Yeah.
Right? So he appeals under double jeopardy, because what he says is, I was already tried for first degree, and the jurors in the first one acquitted me of that because they found me they only found me guilty of second degree. So that's what the basis of his appeal was. And the Supremes agreed that essentially they didn't say not guilty, but their silence on it is implied. The silence on that charge is implied that he was found not guilty. So if you get convicted of a lesser included charge, and you appeal, as far as I know, this is an old case, so it may have changed, but my understanding from this case, and after chatting with Star a little bit, if you win the appeal and get retried, the main charge
that you've been tried on already,
you cannot get retried on. And so what that means is, for Alicia, if she were, I'm just saying, if she were, follow me, don't stone me, to appeal and win, theoretically, based on this, that could be different, and real lawyers, you argue me down and I'll let you win, because I don't know. But based on this, she wouldn't be able to be tried again on first degree or second degree, and she certainly wouldn't get the conspiracy, because that was not guilty.
Yeah.
She would only be retried on manslaughter, which means the prosecutors would have to just prove her conduct contributed to, or her conduct actually was manslaughter, because certainly they wouldn't argue the crime was manslaughter. That wouldn't make sense. I'm not a lawyer, but I hope I presented my case in a way that at least makes sense. I'm not fighting for her. That wasn't my intention. I promise you, because I think all the people are mad
But
at
that's
me.
good though.
I just wanted to understand, because it felt so jarring.
Yeah.
That this case would have manslaughter anyway attached to it.
Mhm.
But after realizing the theory part, I'm like, oh, okay.
So my question is manslaughter with principle. Is there what's the lesser charge?
Of manslaughter?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that there is one.
Okay, so
I mean,
basically in this case,
probably I don't know.
Long story short,
Uh-huh.
even though you done told you long story.
Yeah.
She should have been found guilty or not guilty. It shouldn't have been any lesser charges because the principal fact proves that she helped with everything.
Except
Okay.
the principle is just a theory, and jurors have the right and the ability to not even take your theory and come to their own. So she still could, she can be charged with manslaughter because that can be based on her actions alone. Jurors can say, we hear you, prosecutors, about this whole she helped with the text messages. We don't have to even listen to that. We can say that she unintentionally helped kill this man, and that alone is manslaughter. We don't have to, they don't have to take the theory.
Yeah.
So what has happened based off of this research that I've done, I've now come to the point of, okay, jurors, I get what you were doing. I understand. I get it. Yeah, I understand it now.
They didn't have any other option.
I went through a journey to get there. I mean, they could have voted not guilty, but it sounds like they believed kind of what we are saying, that she knew something. She knew something. Yeah. And it seems like that's how they compromised.
But that's what I'm saying. They didn't have any other option, lower option than the manslaughter with principle. It's like she has to be punished somehow.
Yeah.
But not with,
not with first we
degree.
Don't think, first degree. And I don't know. I would love to talk to one of the jurors because I just have so many questions about how they got there. But this is my assumption as to how they got there. I now follow it better than the first day. I was like, this isn't making sense to me. And that's what kind of prompted me to dig into it and make a video where, again, a lot of people had a lot of things. They were calling me all types of dumb. You don't know nothing, girl. You know what? Y'all ain't even hearing the question I'm asking. But I am, again, very appreciative of
y'all better watch y'all mouths.
People who broke down that basically, and again, I'm just going to restate for clarity. The answer to my question is that being charged as a principal is not a charge at all. It seems. It could be, but it seems that it's not. It seems that this was just a theory. And because jurors have the ability to not take a prosecutor's theory, they can theorize on their own what happened and arrive at a verdict based off of that. That's what it seems happened. All right, y'all.
That was a goddamn good ass job.
Good, I'm happy.
Good goddamn job.
We got
people pay attention when I talk like this.
Stop. We got a couple. We got like 5 objections, and I want to say thank you for calling in and giving us objections. Let's play.
I do love the objections.
I know. I'm so appreciative of you guys doing them. So let's listen to what the people got to say.
Hey, Mel. Hey, Goolsby.
Hi.
My name is Bristol. I have an objection about the Alicia Andrews case. I do think that the jury got it wrong. I think she should have been found not guilty, and I completely hope that she gets to go through the appeal process. I know most people do. And she will get it, in my opinion, because I feel like the judge was a little bit biased. And I think the judge was biased just because of the opening statement kind of didn't go with where the defense wanted to go. But if I was a part of that jury, we would have been a hung jury. It would have been a mistrial because I would have stood 10 toes down that she was not guilty. Not that she didn't know what was happening, I guess, But because I don't feel like the prosecution or the state or whatever had the proof beyond a reasonable doubt. There was more reasonable doubt than Jay-Z going through all of their evidence. Anyway, I don't want to be long-winded about it. That's my objection. Love the show. Love the podcast. Thank y'all.
I always love a Jay-Z reference. Thank you for calling in. Go ahead.
That was good, because I do agree too. Like, I'm not saying she didn't know anything, but I don't think principal she helped in anything. I don't think they proved that she was there to do the crime. So yeah, I agree with this objection.
Let's go to the next one.
Hey, Mel. Hey, Greg. I want to give an objection to the jury on the Alicia Andrews trial. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I have been a juror before in the past, and I have been a very confused juror in the past. And what, helped me was the fact that we did have a lawyer on our jury. They didn't practice criminal law, but they, did go to law school. So when they gave us the jury instructions when we were out there, seated, it felt like it didn't make sense, but they gave us paper, like it written down of each. And I'm telling you, I read that paper like 20 times before it even began to resemble something like English to me. Because like, it's just not, we don't really talk about what it means to be like, for something to be premeditated or have intent to kill or things like that. So it really took a lot to understand, and it feels like this jury really just didn't understand it. And I, can sympathize with that because I've been there, or empathize with that because I've been there. But what do you do now? Because this doesn't feel like anybody, whether you think she was involved or not, no one, including the victim, got justice if this jury just didn't understand what they were doing. Like, justice was not served or handed out, or if that's my opinion of it.
I think a lot of people, first of all, giving the perspective of someone who's been a juror and saying that the instructions were confusing. I always wonder that because, again, because I make content the way that I do, I get to watch something live, but I screen record it for my video. And so when I later go back to actually put together whatever video I'm putting, I get to rewatch that stuff. I get to listen. And if I'm unclear about something, I get to rewatch until I get clear about it. But when you are in the court, you're not hitting rewind in that moment, and you have a paper and maybe you can read back over it. But even if I have a question, I got Google next to me. I got the ability, and I have lawyers. I have the ability to research that. But if you are a lay person who is taking all this information in and you want to do right by these people, regardless of, who the people are, but you take this position seriously, I can't even imagine how confusing, nerve-wracking, scary that is, and like how much anxiety you can get to making sure you understand it clearly so that your verdict reflects what the law actually is. I just can't even imagine.
And growing up, period, you're taught not to ask questions. Like, you just go on with the flow. Yeah. So at that point, you don't even know if you should ask the question or not. On top of getting paid $25 an hour, you're hungry.
You're hungry.
You need to pay bills.
Yeah.
Because, man, I'm trying to get home because you're paying me $25 an hour. And there's no telling the other personalities of these people in the room with her, egging her on or trying to bring her on this side or bring her on that side. It's And on top of that, for all this to happen, you don't have the proper instructions.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, and one of the questions the only question that they asked the jurors for this case was for second degree, for the lesser included charge of second degree, as a principal, is intention required? That is what they asked.
Oh. So
that even goes to my earlier point when I was saying, does the principal carry down right to the lesser included based off of that question? That's what they were doing. They were going to apply that principle to the lessers. maybe. So again, I would love to know the conversation, because it seems that y'all didn't apply it to manslaughter. It seems like that charge was based alone off of her actions. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe, I don't know. So anyway, that is the question that they asked. And it just, again, goes to the point of jury instructions and you not being clear. I heard what you said and I read what you said. Can you just tell me very directly the answer to this specific question? So anyway, let's go to the next one.
Hey guys, this is Herman from Brooklyn. I'm a fan of the show, and I have a lot of questions about the verdict in the Alicia Andrews case. I'm wondering if the defendant, Ms. Andrews, was hurt by the fact that she was playing an away game. She's from Jacksonville. The crime happened in Tampa. She was in a Tampa court, being prosecuted by a Tampa prosecutor, a Tampa judge, in front of a jury of not her peers who are from Tampa, not Jacksonville. I thought the judge allowed the prosecution an extraordinary amount of latitude in painting Ms. Andrews in a negative light, saying she lied, when really during the police interrogation, what Ms. Andrews did was fail to volunteer information at a time when she had the right to remain silent. I didn't see anything inconsistent with anybody, acting in their own self-interest, as anyone would. I also thought that the text message from 4 years ago was prejudicial, where she said that certain things would happen to Julio Fulio. I don't think that, something that she said over text 4 years ago had any bearing on this case, but the judge allowed it as evidence. Again, Tampa judge, Tampa jury, Tampa prosecutor. It seems like the game was rigged against her. Thanks.
I think that's an interesting point
That's good,
about I know, thanks for calling in. I think it's an interesting point about her being it's an away game. First of all, I like that analogy. But it was an away game. I think that's very, very interesting. And I wonder, based off of even what the prosecutors are saying, well, they said a little bit, but the fact that Jacksonville citizens, that community may be more aware of that. Maybe not. I'm saying maybe more aware. I wonder if that would have made any differences for this.
I think it does. Let an Atlanta or New Orleans individual have the opposite jury or be in a different courtroom. Let a New Orleans native come to Atlanta and go through a case. There's going to be some type of bias in there, just because, to his point, different teams. I'm saying you're in a whole different area. New Orleans and the A, there is a competitive spirit in there.
Yeah, but I don't think he's even talking about the competitive nature of like Jacksonville and Tampa. I think it's more, well, the way I'm taking it, listen, really quick. What I'm saying is, take people from Atlanta committing a crime in Savannah. It's not about the competitive nature. It's more about, don't y'all be bringing y'all little gang city stuff to my city. Y'all can stay on where you at.
I'm saying the same thing. It's just, what I'm saying is, we all know the attitudes towards each area. Same thing. Savannah, Atlanta, Macon, Valdosta. If you're in a different area, I was just using.
Oh, I thought
those
you were
two different
because they could be rivals. That's what I thought you were getting at, is the rival nature of. So I thought you were.
I think not being in a different, not having home team advantage, like he's saying. Yes, it's all about rival. That's his whole point. Is you're not in your home state. You're not with your people.
Yeah. So
it's going to be a rival. And I think it definitely had a bias. I think there's a bias. Yeah. And they might do it and not know they're doing it, but I think it would be a bias. That's good, Herm. Thank you for calling in.
Homeschooling Mama 4 here, who works full-time with a few objections. Objection, Your Honor. You were clearly bothered by the defense. I don't know if you did not like them, you had a bias against them, but you were clearly bothered and annoyed by like everything they did and said. Objection to the defense team for making her annoyed. You make me annoyed. It was given JV. It was giving unprepared. It was given, this is my first time around the block or in a courtroom. Maybe not first, maybe fifth. But it wasn't giving, I'm safe in your hands. It was not giving Allstate. I'm not a criminal, but I wouldn't call you. I would be putting some money to the side for the Max Sharks and the Brian Stills of the world. Objection to the prosecution team, mainly for the annoying tone in the voice during the line of questioning. Like, everything that was being said was just so far-fetched and so hard to believe. And I don't know about anybody else, but I can see it. Like, being with guys that are in the street, like just simple things like a nickname. Man, you don't know what a nickname is. Just because we call you Mel, like, is that your gang name? I mean, I know some people call you YSL Mel, but like, let's think about this. Like, it was just super annoying with that. And those are my objections for that. Also, objection to me crying half the night from watching the Netflix video about the case with AJ and that situation, because seeing those babies crying just got me.
I think I know who that was. Thank you for your objection. For all of your objections, should I say?
I agree with that first part. That
not
judge,
giving Allstate.
That judge gave me the ickiness. I ain't like that judge at all. She reminded me of the judge in the Karen Reed case. You could see the bias in her. Everything about her is just she had no time for the defense. What you got? Blah, 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 blah. She wasn't. Yeah, I didn't like her at all. Yeah.
I want them to do a poll, because people are also saying that they had no idea about this gang war. People from Jacksonville, which is not hard to believe either, because a lot of people don't watch the news. Like, I feel like your parents,
that's it.
That's all they watch. But there's so many people I know who do not watch the news. Like, for people in Atlanta were like, there's something going on here, but they didn't know, like, like not the details of what's happening. So yeah, it's a fair point.
I keep talking about this 40 and up crew. 45, I say 45 and down. We don't watch the news. I don't think that's a fair statement. I think 45 and down. Who 45 and up? Who
under
watch
45.
The news? Under 45 that watches the news.
Me.
You don't watch the news.
Actually, I haven't watched the news in LA.
I know you haven't.
In Atlanta, I used to watch the news.
I haven't watched the news man. Only time I watch the news if there's like a hurricane, like that Hurricane Melissa just popped off.
Okay.
Prayers out to Jamaica. Outside of that, I haven't. There's no need.
The patrons, but they agree with you. It seemed like ain't nobody watching the news no more, because they watching TikTok. They watching me on the talk.
That's good. TikTok.
I think we got one more. That was the last one. Okay, let's do the last one.
Hi, Mel. So here's my take on the Alicia Andrews verdict. I do think it was a compromise verdict. I think the jury was not happy with the choices that the prosecution gave them to convict her of. And so they tried to do some rough justice to apportion guilt where they thought it should be, because basically I think they believe the prosecutors overcharged this one. And maybe they would have easily found her guilty of some other charges. But given what they had, I think they tried to do some rough justice on finding her guilty of the least lesser offense that was available to them. I don't think they saw her as completely innocent. I do think they thought that at some point she became aware of what was going on, but that she was not a part of the original conspiracy or in the premeditated planning. And I think that her interview with the police did not help her, but surprisingly, her taking the stand, I think, did. And then we got what we got, which didn't legally make sense when you combine what they acquitted her of and what they found her guilty of. But I think it was their attempt at some rough justice.
We know that
Flawless.
voice very well. That's Coretta
Mhm.
from the Patreon. And we did an interview with her a couple, maybe even months ago now, which is great. If you haven't watched it, you should. But thank you for calling in. I think we all agree with that. I think you put that together very, very succinctly in a way that we had spent an hour trying to do.
I think this case would have been so much simpler if there was a lower charge, a lesser charge, and they would have found her guilty of that, and that would have been that. I think that's would have that she has. Yes, I agree.
I also want to say, because somebody commented and said, you know, somebody still died at the end of this, and I recognize that. Let me say, I recognize that a life was lost. And it seems that there have been a number of lives lost in this gang war that has gone on for years. And a lot of the lives that are being taken are young, you know, less than 20-year-old or early 20-year-old Black men. And that is heartbreaking in and of itself. I, you know, send love to Julio's loved ones, his mother, who at one point even got shot because people were trying to get at him. So again, I do not dismiss the fact that a life was lost and that people have been affected for years by this war, that it seems so dumb, right? Like people arguing or people feeling so strongly because they grew up on one street and you grew up on another is just something I personally cannot relate to. I don't feel that strongly. I grew up military, so I don't even have an allegiance to anywhere, you know, like I was born in California, lived in Germany. Imagine me being like, yes, Germans. And then I went to Hawaii. So now I'm Hawaiian. Like I don't have that experience. So it's very foreign to me, the idea that people feel so strongly about the street and then literally going to war about it. It's just so pointless. It's so sad. So I recognize that and do want to acknowledge that. On the same side of that, the reason I have been interested in, the reason I even did the deep dive and trying to understand her verdict, is because what you also have to recognize is that this justice system has to be fair, right? And so whether it's Alicia, whether it's you watching, or your mama, your brother, your sister, my mama, at the end of the day, prosecutors have a responsibility to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. That is the bar for criminal charges, for a verdict, right? In a criminal trial. And if we let prosecutors not prove what they say happened, that is how we get to the point of, in 20 years, people saying I was wrongfully convicted and here's how, and now we're all riled up because they knew better, right? The way you fix that is, yes, a crime happened. Prosecutors prove it. Prove it so that these people can be punished for what they've done. But prosecutors shouldn't be allowed to get away with not proving what they say happened. And they should prove it the way that they're supposed to. They should prove it in the correct manner with the correct evidence that is a judge has determined, you know, is okay to come in, and that's what they're supposed to do. So I just want to say, again, I recognize not just Julio's death, but the death of the many people who have died in this war. And I think this conversation, at least for me, is really about, did the prosecutors prove it? I have that question I asked, you know, what do you believe happened? Did the prosecutor say what they believed happened? And what do you think the verdict should be? Because again, all of that can be different. But that second question is the most important because they are supposed to prove it regardless. That's what I have to say on my high horse.
I also want to piggyback off that, but I ain't piggybacking off that. No one comes on here not understanding what happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So when people pass away, we understand that. You don't have to try to make somebody out to be the bad guy. Okay. This is all educational purposes because I'm learning. Oh, yeah. I'm learning all about court cases. I'm learning that the justice system is not just at all. Karen Reed will forever be embedded in my head. Doing this, we're doing this for ourselves and we're doing it for you all. And obviously, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are losing their lives to gang wars, and we understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Edutainment.
all I
I
gotta
like
say.
it. All right, we're done with our high horse.
Mhm.
Forgive me. I've been fighting with words apparently this whole episode. Forgive me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please give your respectful thoughts. Respectful being key in the comments. And I guess we'll see you next time. Make sure you follow me. I'm Not a Lawyer, but subscribe on YouTube if you are not. Trying to reach 100,000 by the end of the year, and I am almost there. Follow me TikTok, Instagram, all the different platforms, and you can join the Patreon, all of the above.
And you can catch me on IG, GOOLZBY, and watch who you hang around, because you could be charged with principle.
There you go. As a principal.
As a principal.
Well, it's not a charge, it's a theory.
It's a theory. Education. All right. Court is adjourned.